the greatness man. What's happening?
Hey, Sister Audrey, how are you doing? It's great to see you this evening.
Yes, thank you. I'm doing great as well. So I know we've come together today so we can do some crucial conversation. We need to join the conversation of what's going on. We've had COVID-19 and the fallout, all the effects of that in the community, the greater community worldwide, as well as some civil unrest, for civil rights movement, a new one, Civil Rights 2020. I'll kind of coin that phrase right there. So let's just get started. Where you feeling, where you're at on this?
On what, COVID-19 or
Yeah,
the,
let's go ahead and start there.
well, it's different. And what makes it different is that we have to spend a lot of time working from our homes now.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I have found out very quickly is that if you don't structure your time, it's going to get away from you. And so that's just one of the things that you got to do. You have to get into a system where you know exactly what it is that you want to get done. Otherwise, you'll waste an exorbitant amount of time if you don't structure your activities so that you can stay focused on what it is that you want to do. That's probably the biggest thing that I've learned.
Okay. Yeah, pretty much same here, because I know those first couple of weeks I was like, it seemed like I couldn't turn off, so to speak. And I was so tired, was working longer hours, not on purpose, was just kind of fell into, this unhealthy pattern, and then eventually, I got back my focus and okay, so what I need to do, to get this going.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's that's what happened here, running a part-time business, working full-time, trying to eat healthy, get out and get some exercise, because coming home, everything starting and ending, right there, all of our patterns are broken, and we have to rethink, well, how do I do things now? Okay, so how do I get out and get that exercise in the morning? And what was awesome though about it is that we actually gain, a few hours in a day, because if you don't have that commute, 45 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever, one way, so you figure you save an hour to hour and a half a day.
Well, that's exactly the same scenario for me as well, because I'm generally up, by 4:30 every morning.
Okay.
To get on the road and the commute, like you said, to get to work. But having to be at home and not having to make that commute it's a world of difference. But at the same time, you got to make sure that you utilize that time effectively, or it just gets away from you.
Right. Yep. So that's that was crazy. So I'm glad, now we're kind of in the throes of trying to halfway get back. Part of the country is open for business as usual, with guidelines, and the other half is still, working from home or not working at all, and trying to figure out the unemployment and, virtual long lines of getting through, for that. And so it's been a challenge, and, people, not having the income, to meet their obligations. And I'm sure they never thought they would be there. And I'm sure you've been through this as far as the teaching of having, 3 to 6 months of, expenses, saved up. Some people say 6 months, and if, awesome if you had a year. And I think most of us were, how they always say that, the phrase of being one paycheck away from poverty. And
Well, that's the majority of Americans here, in the USA, in this country.
yes.
It's a major challenge right now, for folks. And I feel sorry, for those individuals that haven't had an opportunity to be able to save up anything. And then sometimes they can't save up anything because they, every penny that they make or get is obligated to something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when there's a hiatus or a break, and there's a possibility that you're not going to be working, or you may even lose your job, as so many thousands of people have, that just really puts a heavier burden on the economy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Goodness. Yeah, so you think about the pre and the while we're in the midst of it. So what about the other side? What about what's going to happen once we get out of this post COVID?
Well, first of all, I think it's gonna take a while, for things to go back to normal.
Hmm.
And that term that they've coined, yeah, I think it's going to be very apropos, which is the new normal.
Yeah.
We're going to have to find out, exactly what things are going to look like after this, because wearing a mask now is pretty much commonplace, for individuals.
Hmm.
And who would have ever thought that? But here it is. So it takes a long time to break old habits, but then when you institute new habits like that, um, that's going to become a part of the process. And the future is uncertain, because there may be an escalation of this virus, and if there is, then that means that it's going to affect what happens this fall, as far as schools and businesses and so on and so forth. There's a good possibility that we're really not out of the woods yet.
Right, right. Absolutely. Yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see how the school situation goes back, because that's like a major event every day, all day long.
Yes.
It's one thing for the office staff or the faculty to get in there and do some social distancing, put up barriers, the acrylic screens and things like that. But what do you do in the classrooms? Do you hire more teachers? There's no, I don't know about budgets for doing something like that, to add more classes, more sections, and
Well,
wow.
I'm thrilled, due to the fact that we have excellent leadership in the state. I mean, Governor DeWine has done an extraordinarily great job
Yeah.
of making sure that everything has been properly positioned, and has worked hard to save lives. And he's a big proponent as far as the schools are concerned, and he definitely wants to see them open this fall and ready to go. Our principal just told us that a few days ago. So I'm geared up and excited about being able to interact with the faculty members and the students again, and really looking forward to
You're right. Yes. Yeah, me too. Yeah, can't wait.
it.
uh, um, wow. So the other piece to that is, navigating the lunches, the eating, that that whole part as well. And just think about like concerts or things like that. And my heart goes out to the graduates, recent graduates, and proms who didn't get to have those things as well. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and the social distancing aspect of it, because
Mm-hmm.
the
Right.
classrooms, are really going to look quite different because of the spacing and everything. But I will say that we're still going to try to hold graduation ceremonies at the Ohio Valley Christian School for our graduates sometime in July. So
Okay.
we
Okay.
still want to make that happen for the students.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great if you can. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Wow. Well, I'm amazed here. That's all I can keep saying. But even with the COVID-19 and the different perspectives on that for the different countries and the different communities, what's been going on, it's just been really a hardship on people mentally as well as physically. And people, when I say physically, people, of course, being, sick with COVID-19, you're coming up with the coronavirus and being well. And the folks that have died, over 100,000, deaths in this country alone, is just phenomenal.
That
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
is extremely sad.
Mhm.
Who would have thought that something this major, would turn out to be a pandemic that affects so many lives and so many families and so many livelihood.
Yeah,
It's a horrible situation that we're doing our best to make the best out of.
right. Absolutely. Yeah, and then you have others, they were able to work from home, so they didn't have their income wasn't interrupted at all. So that's a blessing. And then even like going forward though, at some point, some of those organizations like universities, they're cutting back. The top brass, so to speak, are taking pay reductions, and they're asking staff to take 4 weeks furlough, where they have to go on unemployment and go through that process, as well. So then there's extra monies, of course, from the government, from that to for that extra $600 a week that they were talking about. So if they're, if that fits within, what they were making, you kind of hopefully to balance that out, because most mortgage companies and rental companies, as far as leasing apartments and condos and things, they haven't reduced those rents. I know some of the car dealerships or the financing, they've been able to like have us or have you defer payments to the end, a couple of payments, and so hopefully this won't go on too much longer. And but at the same time, I want everybody to be safe. I'm not talking about rushing back and restarting, just for the money, because if people get sick again, in large numbers, and that could wreak havoc all over again. And I don't
Well,
think anybody wants to do that.
no, because if they did, then it could turn out to be even more devastating than what it is right now. So, I mean, I think we have to, if we're going to err, we need to err on the side of caution.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So heart goes out to everyone around the country dealing with that. And thank you to our postal workers. And I got your 4 books today. So appreciate that. United States Post Office. Yeah, essential workers. Let's add that to the list, as well as our medical staff and associates that, to help keep the, those hospitals going, this, behind the scenes crew, there's all of those, that group, the janitors, the STNAs, and everyone is like supporting those doctors and nurses, just grateful are out there, and our grocery store employees really appreciate it. Law enforcement and fire, all those folks that are still out there, keeping that infrastructure, so to speak, going.
We just can't give them enough accolades. They're an incredible
Right.
group of people.
That's correct. Yeah, so as we want to, pivot a little bit from COVID-19, we talk about essential workers, and of course, recently we had a slew of murders and just civil unrest because of excessive force from some of our police departments, and one in particular we're dealing with right now is the murder of George Floyd over in Minneapolis. And of course, just here the first memorial yesterday for him. So just wanted to talk about that in the midst of a health crisis that we're dealing with, a civil crisis, and just kind of unbelievable what the family had to go through, and it just brings up memories of other cases, that some cases are still going on, are still opening, being investigated, or dragging their feet on it, and so you read that and just kind of get just really just messed up here. And well, I didn't lose anyone to police brutality. I did. My brother, every time something like this happens, I go right back to when I was 15 years old and my brother was 18, and he was walking through the park with his girlfriend, and there was a stolen car or a stripped car. Yeah, I guess we say stolen because it was stripped, didn't have tires on it or anything, and they're just walking in the park. And so here comes these, 2 white cops and accost them. And of course, they, the black man, they beat up my brother, arrested him, took him to jail. And they didn't, they got a slap on the hand. And, things, haven't changed. He just turned 65 a couple of weeks ago. So it's just amazing that you still have to go through these types of situations.
You're right. It's amazing that we still have to go through all of this, particularly when we're dealing with a health crisis. And then all of a sudden, the situation is exacerbated because race becomes a factor.
Right.
I have to spend, a few moments just quoting Dr. King here, because here's what he said. He says, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And we have to keep that in perspective. We would never have come this far if it had not been for fabulous whites and blacks who have worked together, because we're bound together inextricably.
Correct.
And so we have great people, in all races,
Mm-hmm.
but it only takes a bad seed, from one race to just wreck it, for everybody, and just totally mess it up.
Right.
And we can't tolerate that. We can't sit back and allow that to just happen without saying something, without doing something,
Mm-hmm.
without instructing our children, because those types of behaviors have to change. And if they're not going to learn it at home, then hopefully we'll have teachers who stand up in the classroom and teach the children that wrong is wrong.
That's right.
Regardless of the hue of a person's skin, you
Mm-hmm.
have to think of individuals as human beings first,
That's
and
correct.
and be careful about how you interact with people and how much force you use, and always give people the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. So it's just been a lot of craziness, the looting and the vandalism, and I don't know. I'm overwhelmed, with it. So yeah, but hopefully, I know I've talked to some folks this week, even later this a couple of hours ago, and what the hope is that this time this will make a difference. That real change will come, and like some of the the folks have been saying is yes, you have to vote and all of that, and make sure you get the right your right legislatures in the
Mhm.
houses, but we also have to have legislation. Things, the laws have to be changed, things have to be put in place so that there is equity in under treatment and the law. And I just can't believe it, and I'm glad my parents are not here to see this crap.
Right. And you're saying that makes me think of something that I watched Denzel Washington when he stars. I don't know if you've seen the movie. It's called The Great Debaters. But in that movie, he said uh, one of the actors, James Farmer Jr., I think, mentioned something that St. Augustine said years ago. And here's what he said about laws that were on the
Hmm.
books. An unjust law is no law at all. So you're absolutely right. There's going to have to be some changes made. One of the things that I appreciate about the organization that you and I are involved in, the Transformational Dream Team,
Hmm.
has to do with the fact that we gained 10 new members yesterday.
Oh,
And so, yeah,
awesome.
so this, so,
We're
so this,
growing.
yeah, this is going to grow exponentially. It is, where we can come together, in formats like this, but not just this,
Hmm.
uh, where we can do seminars and conferences and workshops and help people to figure out how to get their book written, help people how to figure out how to deliver their presentation, and mesh with their audience. Or if we have someone who is looking to gain expertise in organizational skills, they can consult with one of the individuals who's a member of our team.
Right.
And, we got yesterday. We had a lady who became a member from North Carolina. We had someone who chimed in from the state of Washington, out there on the West Coast.
Okay.
And I'm really thrilled about that. And what's cool is they said that we believe in what it is that you're doing 100%.
Yes.
And so literally, when we talk about transformation,
Uh-huh.
that's what this is all about. The Bible tells us, it says to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So
Right.
that's where it has to start. And then when you feel that desire that's inside yourself, you begin to feel pumped, knowing that you can literally go out here and make a difference in someone else's life. That's what this is all about. So
Right. Right.
we,
Exactly.
we want people to become involved with this organization so
Mhm.
that they can realize many of their dreams and a lot of the aspirations that they have. So how do you feel about that?
I'm excited because even out of all of the tragedy and pain, there's always the birth of something good to happen, and I think that the transformational dream team is on the on the cusp of that, of making a difference. Having 10 new members. Okay, so those 10 new members will go out and make a difference in 10 other people's lives, and then you talk about the exponential growth. So I'm excited to be on that side. So it's like, okay, so what can I do to make a difference? And there's so much to be done till there's something that for everybody to be able to join in and do. And so then for us of being able to support somebody from a standpoint of encouraging their growth, their professional development, their personal development, of believing in who they are and being able to pull out of them the gifts and talents, that God gave them, to be able to make, so they can make a difference in the in the greater community. So I'm thrilled.
Well, you said something very powerful right there. And in order for people to be able to move forward, we have to meet them exactly where it is that they are. Mm-hmm. So that means addressing the pain or addressing the issues that they are currently confronted with. We can't just talk about goals and having a good time and setting high-level aspirations until we get some of the pain issues resolved. And so we kind of have to grow through that and help people to figure out what skills and what strategies that they have to put in place just in order to be able to cope effectively. That's a big challenge, for a lot of different individuals. If you don't feel motivated, if you don't want to get up, if you're lethargic, if there are situations that are happening in your life, sometimes you're going to have to remove yourself from that environment so that you can feel more productive and get something done.
Absolutely. Yeah. So then I think about all the young folks, on the streets protesting and, making a stand for something that they believe in. And so when it's over and their turn comes to make that difference in society with the career choices and different things that they need to do, we need to be there to stand in that gap to help them.
Oh, absolutely. They need guidance, and certainly they need to understand that answering violence with violence is not the answer. Mm-hmm. The answer has to be constructive. It has to be forward moving. It has to be reasonable. It has to be logical, and people need to think before they act. That's the key right there. Mm-hmm. I love what Ralph Waldo Emerson is one of my favorite writers. And one of the things that he said is the ancestor of every action is a thought. Mm-hmm. So whatever it is that you have in your mind is what is going to be the dominating factor that's in your life. So you want to be careful, what it is that you're thinking about, because the key is being able to stand guard at the door of your mind before you do something really stupid, and then set yourself back a long time. So even now, when the tendency is to be hot-headed, and we can't afford to do that. Mm-hmm. We still have to reason logically in spite of the damage that's been inflicted upon us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Well, we want justice. No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not really trying to make light of it. Trust me.
Oh no. No, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah,
definitely.
But there's a certain amount of civility, and everything needs to be done as decently and as in order as it possibly can. Mm. That's what the key is. That's what's critical to the whole success process.
Right. Absolutely.
But I'm excited about what we're doing, because we keep showing up. And if we keep showing up, that means that we're going to keep growing up. And if we keep growing, that means that we're going to keep going up. So I'm ready to talk.
I know. I forgot who it was, but it was said, and I don't know if it was George Fraser or someone else, but it talked about showing up. Show up for your life.
Show up for your life. Yeah.
Yes, we have to show up. And when we show up, let's show out with what we've got.
I mean, the cheerleaders are awesome. Don't get me wrong. But I want to be out there on the field. I want to be in the game. This is the game of life.
Absolutely.
And we only have one opportunity. We only get one opportunity, one shot. Like Eminem says, you only get one shot. You only get one opportunity. So let's get after it and make it happen.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's make something happen. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. I do.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So, if I can help anybody out there, hit me up. I'm Audrey Wiggins. You can find me on, across social media. Come, to this page for the TDT Transformational Dream Team. Leave us a message. If I get any encouraging, or if you need to learn some technology, you're stuck, if that's what's holding you back, whatever that is. And like Dr. Bob or Dr. Lawson I mentioned earlier about, writing books, or, I mean, he's a very accomplished author, over 12 books, and accounting. He's still flowing. Every
Yeah.
day there's some new content coming out of him for the next book, and he has a greatness series, and it does real excited about, because that's something that I think every person needs to be. So definitely, look for him as well. You can find him through our page, and connect with him and all the members, our charter members out there who are helping people to pivot in this current situation that we're in, so that we can come out successful, on the
Yeah.
other side. And if
Well,
we're successful, we can help others to be successful.
we've grown from 14 to 25 now, and we want other people, to join our movement.
Right,
And,
exactly. Yeah, because right, yeah, absolutely. And that's what it's for. So our website is tdt.solutions, TDT, like you see behind me here, .solutions. That's the website. Same Facebook page, you can find us, TDT Solutions. And connect with us. Let's start another crucial conversation, see how we can make things happen together for the greater community. And we're not just limited to African Americans. This is a integrated movement that we have here,
absolutely.
Transformational Dream Team. So definitely chime into us, people. We have educators on our team. We have real estate agents. We have administrative support staff who are out there, making it happen with their own part-time businesses. There's energy doctors out there with alternative medicine, getting in touch with your body, so you have that mind-body alignment. And coaches, personal coaches, personal development coaches out there. People just help you get focused and take action. It's just amazing. You'd probably within the breadth of us, you may find yourself. And so it's always good to have a mentor, someone who has walked in those steps before us, to be able to, to help us to navigate life. Yes.
That was well said.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So even the time that we've been together, just over a year, about a year and a half now, and I've grown just being a part of the collective, being a part of something good, collaborating and being able to express your strengths, and then even your weaknesses, because in that you find humility, you find more strength and courage to move forward in what it is that you want to do. And so I'm excited, about the future, and so we can get this civil rights thing together, and really, get some justice for Mr. George Floyd, and some of the other folks,
Right.
and really get past these, really have a greater understanding about implicit bias, and with how that feeds into racism. Yeah, definitely.
Well, I want to say that, if you're paying attention right now, you were just listening to the queen of technology, because she will be able to share with you ideas and strategies that you can use to promote yourself on social media and other various types of platforms that are out there. She knows this stuff. And the more you learn to utilize that effectively, the better you're going to be. People are going to know what it is that you have to offer. Mm-hmm. So we have all of that too, for individuals who are interested in becoming a part of what it is that we're actually doing.
Right. Oh, and you know what? The other thing too, the other category I didn't mention was finances.
Yes.
Wow. We want to get our mental stability. We need financial stability as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we have two powerful people, a baby boomer, and is he millennial? Is James a millennial?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He was born in 1991.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So be excited to learn, from them. So definitely go to our website, tdt.solutions, again, and, learn about, the type of folks that are available, to you, so we can help get you to that next level.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And so I guess if you want to give a final word there, Dr. Lawson, we're going to end this particular crucial conversation, and I look forward to coming back at some point in the very near future, and with some other of our members, so we can have our voice heard in the marketplace.
Well, I think, probably the big thing is empowerment. People have to think individually about where they are in life and where it is that they want to go. And when you rub shoulders with individuals, one thing I like about our organization is it's full of positive individuals, who are role models. They have a wealth of experience in presenting, in speaking, in writing, and all the other areas that you mentioned, technology and environment, also the environmental issues.
Oh, yes, definitely. Sustainability, we've got to deal with that.
Yeah, there's just so much that we're going to be able to do. So, we're looking to recruit other individuals so that we can head out across the globe and get a lot of things done. And we're growing. So
yes.
If you haven't heard of us, you're going to. I guarantee.
Okay. Transformational Dream Team. All right. Well, I'm going to say good night.
Good night.
Okay. See you guys soon. You're welcome.
All right.